5 years. That's how long I chased Aiden. It's also how long his brother, Jimmy, chased Bree. Then, on New Year's Eve, I stood waiting outside the cinema, holding 2 tickets for a movie Aiden would never show up to. Across town, Jamie waited at the amusement park, hoping Bree would appear, but she never did. At midnight, instead of the people we loved, we both found the same thing, their smiling faces on social media, announcing to the world that they were a couple. Later that night, Jamie and I ended up drinking cheap beer in silence, each nursing our own humiliation. He was the one who broke it first. "Why don't we just give it a shot?" he said, half laughing, half serious. "At least we already know what we're getting into." I stared at him for a long second, then nodded.
"Sure."
And just like that, it began, a ridiculous, fast-paced blur of wedding dress fittings, venue hunting, and invitation lists. Our one shared goal: get married before they did. Weeks later, while I was buried under a pile of venue catalogs, someone pounded on my door. When I opened it, Aiden stood there, eyes rimmed red, jaw tight. "Are you serious?" he demanded. "You're really marrying Jamie? Have you even thought this through?" That night, 5 years of wishful thinking vanished in the cold air. I stood by the plaza near Central Square, watching silver balloons float into the night sky. Couples were everywhere, laughing, kissing, wrapped in scarves. I held 2 useless movie tickets, snow melting against my fingers. This wasn't the ending I had imagined after all those years loving Aiden. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Jamie. She didn't come. The 3 of us, Aiden, Jamie, and I, had grown up together. I'd fallen for Aiden, and Jamie had fallen for my college roommate, Bree. We'd promised to help each other win them over. What a joke that turned out to be. On the biggest night of the year, they were together, and we were both alone. I let out a long sigh, my breath turning to mist in the freezing air, when my phone rang again. Jamie's voice came through the noise of fireworks and shouting. "Did you see their post?" My stomach dropped. I didn't want to look. I knew that once I did, everything would change. Still, I opened the app. There it was, a picture of them, smiling in their old school uniforms, standing arm in arm on the athletic field. They looked genuinely happy. Aiden rarely smiled like that when he was with me. And Bree? She'd never even let Jamie take a single photo of her. I felt hollow. When had it started between them? While Jamie and I had been planning how to confess. How long had we been the joke? I didn't say anything. Neither did Jamie. Finally, he asked, "Still at the theater?"
"Yeah."
"Wait for me. I'll get new tickets. We'll still go." "Okay," I whispered. It was pathetic, really. But at least we could be pathetic together. That made it sting a little less. I don't know how long I sat there, crouched by the entrance, until my legs went numb. Then I saw him coming down the escalator, his hair a newly dyed red, a lucky color for the new year, he'd said a few days before. I'd wanted to dye mine too, but I'd gone with a soft brown instead. He spotted me and jogged over. "Help me up," I said weakly. "I can't feel my legs." He pulled me up and studied my face. "Not bad," he said with a crooked grin. "No tears." "You either." He shrugged. "Come on, movie's starting." We didn't talk about it again. He dropped me off afterward, and when I finally crawled into bed, I saw a message from Bree. "Stella, Aiden and I are together. I hope you're not mad?" I stared at the screen, numb, then typed back a single word.
"No."
Who she dated was her business. But she'd been my friend. I told her everything, every moment, every fluttering feeling I'd ever had for Aiden. And all that time, she'd kept this from me. Not because she couldn't tell me, but because she didn't want to. That was what hurt. Before I could block her, another message came through. "Oh, Stella, I'm so glad you're not mad. I wanted to tell you, I just didn't know how." I closed the chat and unpinned her number. Then, another message popped up, this time from Aiden. I was the one who went after Bree first. Please don't blame her. And just like that, something in me broke. I had loved Aiden for so long it used to ache, but now, the thought of him made my skin crawl. This wasn't some sudden love story. They'd been lying all along. I sent screenshots of both messages to Jamie. "You get one of these?" He replied a minute later with Bree's version, an essay about how thankful she was for his affection. "You'd think after 5 years she could have mentioned she liked my brother," he wrote. "We're not that pathetic, are we?" I thought for a moment, then typed back. "We were just unlucky. But I don't ever want to see them again. Tomorrow I'll have to pretend it's fine, like it doesn't hurt, just so they can feel better about themselves." Same, he replied. Aiden knocked on my door to talk. I ignored him. It's not even that sad anymore. It's just exhausting. Why did it have to be those two? I didn't have an answer. But suddenly, an idea sparked in my mind. At the same moment, my phone rang. It was Jamie. We'd always been in sync like that. What if we... I started. What if we... he echoed. We both stopped, then laughed a little. You first, I said. He hesitated. What if we just try it? You and me. At least we understand each other. I was quiet for only a second. All right. And we get married before they do. Deal, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. Leave it to me. I had no idea Jamie could move so fast. Last night, I hadn't shed a single tear. There was no dramatic mourning for the wasted years. Just a numb curiosity. Had my feelings for Aiden already faded after all that hopeless chasing? Then, before dawn, my mom began pounding on my bedroom door. Each knock felt like a drumbeat of doom. Mom, what is it? It's the mid. I started. Before I could finish, she clamped a hand over my mouth. Honey, you need to get cleaned up and come downstairs. Now. I blinked, still half asleep. What's happening? Your boyfriend is here to ask for your hand, she whispered, practically vibrating with excitement. My mom had always been pushing me toward marriage, arranging blind dates and offering subtle hints. Seeing Jamie show up, all formal and serious, must have been her ultimate fantasy. I tiptoed to the top of the stairs and peeked down. The living room sparkled with familiar faces, and a small pile of gold wrapped in sunlight from the chandelier glinted temptingly. I showered, did my makeup, and changed in record time. By the time I reached the living room, Jamie's mother was smiling warmly, motioning me over. Stella, have some breakfast first, she said. Your uncle and I brought dim sum on the way over. Turning to my mom, she added apologetically, I hope we didn't surprise you. Oh, nonsense, my mom laughed. We've seen these two grow up. If they want to join our families officially, I couldn't be happier. Exactly, my dad said. We're practically family already. Formalities aren't necessary. Jamie sat stiffly in a formal suit, red hair neatly slicked back. You're quick, I murmured as I popped a shrimp dumpling into my mouth. He leaned slightly closer. Well, I figured if my brother came along, it might make you uncomfortable. I raised an eyebrow, staying silent. Our parents were already planning the wedding in enthusiastic detail. How about the 5th of next month? Jamie's mom suggested. The almanac says it's an auspicious date for a wedding. Yes, a lucky day, my mom agreed. Jamie and I exchanged a glance. I mouthed, why are they in such a hurry? He whispered back, they probably think we'll run off. That made sense. Mom always complained about how young people these days avoid marriage. The following weeks blurred into a haze of wedding prep. Jamie and I were swept up in dress fittings, venue visits, and invitation lists. Meanwhile, Aiden and Bree had gone on a trip to Seabrook, a seaside town, sharing photo after photo of themselves looking blissfully happy. One morning, while waiting for Jamie to finish changing into another suit, I caught myself staring at a photo of them with the sparkling ocean behind them.
Something twisted in my chest.
I'd actually planned a trip to Seabrook with Aiden years ago. I'd even told Bree about it, sending her videos of the city and daydreaming about going there for my birthday. But Bree had twisted her ankle, and I stayed home to help her. The trip was postponed. I never imagined they would go together. What are you looking at? Jamie emerged in a sleek black suit, a faint smile tugging at his lips. I turned my phone so he could see. He glanced at the photo, then handed the phone back. Want to go? I shook my head, then nodded. Yes. Despite being twins, it was easy to tell Jamie and Aiden apart. Aiden carried an effortless arrogance, impatient and aloof. Jamie, on the other hand, had her mother's warm eyes that crinkled when he smiled. He was sunny, steady, and genuine. It's not because they went, I said firmly. I've wanted to go for a long time. Jamie guided me gently to the full-length mirror. I know, he said softly. In the reflection, we looked right like a real couple. You two look perfect together, the sales associate said at just the right moment. Jamie leaned slightly, asking, what about this one? Do you like it? I chewed my lip. I don't know, it just doesn't feel special. I held my fingers apart. Something's missing. He chuckled, eyes glittering under the showroom lights. The store manager approached. Have you found the gown and suit you like? Noticing our hesitation, she continued, a new European collection arrives in a few days. The designs are exquisite, and I can walk you through them in a private viewing. Jamie and I exchanged a look, then nodded. Yes, that sounds wonderful, I said, smiling. A few days later, the boutique called to say the new gowns had arrived. The manager invited us in for a fitting. At the last minute, Jamie texted that an urgent issue came up at work. He told me to go ahead and promised to meet me there later. I was locking my apartment door when I saw Bree walking up the path, smiling brightly, a glossy shopping bag swinging from her hand. Stella. Heading out, she chirped. I didn't answer. What are you doing here? She grinned, holding up the bag. A little something from our trip. You have to see Seabrook someday. It's just like that video you sent me. The sea goes on forever. Oh, and why didn't you like any of my posts? Her voice was cheerful, but I felt an odd distance, like I was talking to a stranger wearing Bree's face. Then her gaze snagged on the diamond ring on my finger. Her smile faltered. You know, you shouldn't wear a ring on your middle finger. It's bad luck. Wait, when did you get a diamond ring? I glanced at the glittering stone. 10 carats. Jamie had insisted on buying it since we were skipping an engagement party. I wanted to do something special, he'd said. And he was right. The bigger the diamond, the harder it was to look away. I know, I said simply.
Bree blinked, confused.
Then why are you? I'm getting married, I interrupted, the corner of my mouth lifting. What? Her jaw dropped. Already? Are you over Aiden? The way her face drained of color after blurting that out told me everything. She thought it was impossible for me to move on. Yet she'd had no issue flaunting her new relationship in my face. She reached for my arm, forcing a laugh. Don't be mad. You always said I'd be your maid of honor when you got married. I haven't even met the groom yet. I knew exactly what she wanted, to see who had replaced the man she'd taken from me. Some people weren't content with winning. They needed to confirm that you'd truly lost. I smiled sweetly. Of course. Really? Let's go then. By the time we arrived, Jamie was already there. Bree's cheerful grin froze the instant she saw him. What's Jamie doing here? She asked, her voice tight. I walked straight over and linked my arm through his. He gave me a look of amused fondness and turned to Bree. We're getting married on the 5th of next month. You're invited. Her eyes widened. That's impossible. She looked between us, stunned. What's impossible, Bree? I asked mildly. If you and Aiden can fall in love overnight, why can't we? Her phone rang, saving her from having to answer. As she stepped aside, I sat down and picked up a piece of fruit from the table. See, I whispered to Jamie. Even she thinks this is absurd. There's no such thing as universal empathy, he murmured back. I tilted my head. You think she actually likes you? He snorted. Not a chance. Then, nodding toward the row of gowns, he asked, anything you like? My gaze was instantly drawn to the centerpiece, a gown that glittered like a constellation, every inch covered in tiny crystals. It looked like something made for a fairy tale ending. Jamie caught me staring. Go on, he said with a grin. Try it on. Every girl has a weakness for a wedding dress, even if she's not sure about the marriage itself. While I was changing, I heard Bree's pleading voice outside. Jamie, you were never this cold to me before. Why are you acting like this? Can't we at least be friends? Friends? His tone was cutting. With my brother's girlfriend? You think that's appropriate? I'm getting married. That was my cue. I nodded to the assistant, who yanked the curtain open. Both of them turned in shock, Bree, Jamie, and then Aiden, who had just walked in.
Perfect.
I stepped out, the gown catching the light like 1,000 tiny stars. Their expressions were priceless. Jamie leaned in and whispered, Should we take a picture? We look amazing. Before I could answer, Aiden's voice broke through. You're getting married? Why didn't I hear about this? His voice carried a sharp edge, but then softened. Jamie, Stella doesn't understand what she's doing. You should. You can't just fake something like marriage to make a point. What will people think? Bree looked almost relieved, as if his disbelief validated her. Jamie smiled coolly. If you don't believe me, call Mom and Dad. Aiden did. And the truth came out exactly as expected. We were engaged. The four of us stood there, bathed in white light. Aiden looked lost. I couldn't tell if it was confusion or heartbreak. If he didn't care, why did his eyes look so hollow? I tightened my grip on Jamie's arm. He patted my hand gently. Can you two leave now? Bree tried to smile. Stella, you said I'd be your bridesmaid. The Bree I once knew had meant it. That Bree had been kind, unguarded, and real. This woman in front of me wasn't her. No, I said quietly. Her face drained of color. And just like that, whatever friendship we had left ended. That night, I went out drinking with some old friends. One glass turned into 3, and I passed out on my couch. I woke to the sound of my doorbell ringing nonstop. Not a dream. Groaning, I stumbled to the door and yanked it open and froze.
Aiden.
Just what I needed. My mother always said weddings should be free of bad omens. Too late for that. I tried to slam the door, but he caught it with one hand. His eyes were bloodshot. Stella, are you serious? Are you really marrying Jamie?
Think about it.
He loves Bree. You'll just end up hurt. His voice trembled. You're doing this to punish me, aren't you? Please, don't throw your life away. I met his gaze, calm and cold. I've thought about it. I'm marrying Jamie because I want to. I took a steadying breath. He treats me well. He listens. He takes pictures with me, even when I pick boring places. You never did. I can do that too, he blurted, desperate. I blinked at him. What? He ran a hand through his hair. I mean it, Stella. I was stupid. When I heard you were getting married, it felt like my chest was splitting open. I never realized how much you meant to me until… Ugh. I didn't let him finish. I bent forward and vomited all over his designer shoes. His face twisted in horror. Wow. Jamie's voice came from behind me. You've got guts, showing up at your brother's fiancé's place in the middle of the night. Aiden spun around, speechless. Jamie just smiled and shut the door in his face. Inside, he grabbed a towel and started cleaning me up. How much did you drink? Enough, I muttered. When did you get here? Right when you opened the door, he said, amused. He studied me for a moment. What you said earlier about the photos. Was that true? Yeah, I mumbled. Every time I wanted to take a picture, they'd complain. I'd find a beautiful place, and they'd say it was boring. I used to think, if you're that miserable, why come at all? He brushed a thumb across my cheek. Don't cry. I looked up, my voice slurred but sincere. You know, there were so many times I wanted to give up on Aiden. But then I'd remember how he once spiked across town to buy me a dress for the school dance. I'd think, maybe just hold on a little longer. Jamie exhaled softly, his hand steady on my back. And I didn't want to ruin your chances with Bree. I added, my voice fading. You were still trying, so I thought might as well keep going too. He let out a short laugh. You're unbelievable. Loyalty and heartbreak, huh? You drunk little idiot, he murmured, touching a finger to my lips. Can you shower by yourself?
Yeah.
I stood up too quickly and almost fell face first into the tub. Jamie caught me. Careful. You trying to die? He hesitated, then muttered, forget it. I'll end up seeing it all eventually. Hands off, perv. He grinned. I'm not a perv. I'm your fiancé. Who's my fiancé? Jamie. And who's my wife? Stella. On our wedding day, Jimmy and I were almost comically paranoid that one of us might back out. We stayed on a video call together until the ceremony began, eyes glued to our screens, voices whispering silly reassurances. My father guided me down the aisle, each step deliberate and steady. When he placed my hand into Jimmy's, I felt the strength and warmth in his grasp. Through the delicate veil, I saw his grin, wide enough to light the whole room. In the beginning, our relationship had started as a pact, a shared escape from years of chasing lost affections. But somewhere along the way, that arrangement transformed. We genuinely cared for each other. We became each other's rock, sharing laughter and support. On hikes, we no longer argued about which trail to take. We marveled at the scenery, snapped photos together, and celebrated reaching the summit side by side. Meanwhile, Aiden and Bree's romance didn't survive. Their breakup was explosive and public, fueled by infidelity on both sides. No one could say who started it, Aiden with his secretary, or Bree reconnecting with an old college flame on a so-called platonic getaway where they shared a hotel room. Their tangled affairs became a spectacle, each revelation more scandalous than the last. The drama made headlines, leaving both our parents mortified and mostly housebound for weeks. One evening, I returned home to the comforting smell of a meal in progress. Jimmy was at the stove, moving with ease and confidence. My chest swelled with affection as I quietly approached him from behind, wrapping my arms around his waist. I'm realizing, I murmured into his back, how difficult it actually is to live by that old saying. Be loyal in love. Be patient in devotion. And always keep a clear conscience. He spun around, cleaver in hand, eyes wide with mock terror. "Are you cheating on me?" I laughed, speechless. "Are you serious?" He exhaled dramatically, pretending relief. "Thank goodness." I tilted my head. "Do you ever wonder if we'd have ended up cheated on, too, if we'd followed them?" "Definitely," he replied without hesitation. "Some people just never change. Look at my brother. He's already driven our parents mad. The board's called emergency meetings, and even Dad can't fix it this time. Thank God I started my own business," he added. "Otherwise, I'd be having a full-blown meltdown. The stock's already tanking." I smiled, letting the warmth of the kitchen and his presence wash over me. Someone who doesn't value love won't suddenly become faithful, no matter the partner. My gaze drifted to the dish he was preparing. Memories of Seabrook flooded me, a coastal city famed for seafood, but it was their chicken dishes that had captured my heart. White-cut chicken, salt-baked chicken, hand-shredded chicken. Yet my ultimate favorite had always been the soy sauce chicken. The sauce, rich and savory, seeped through every tender bite. One taste, and it was impossible not to fall in love. "Thanks, hubby," I said, stretching up to kiss his cheek. He paused, then pointed to his lips. "It wants one too." I laughed and flung my arms wide. "All right then. Kisses for everyone." And in that moment, with the savory aroma filling the kitchen and Jimmy by my side, I realized that this, not the past heartbreaks or schemes, not the chaos of unrequited love, was what I had been waiting for all along.